BLUELOCK's U20 World Cup is right around the corner, and everyone is hyped because this is what we've been waiting for. This will be the biggest arc in all of BLUELOCK, so before we get into it, I want to list everything we need to see in the U20 World Cup. Basically, a huge wish list of things I'm excited for, and I think y'all would be excited for too. Let's start with one thing everyone's been asking for since the beginning of BLUELOCK, and that is a penalty shootout. A penalty shootout is a way to decide a winner in case of a tie, where 5 kickers will basically shoot 5 penalties only against the goalie, and the team that scores more or blocks more wins. Y'all, you know how generational a penalty shootout would be in BLUELOCK? Not only would this give a highlight to the kickers, but also to Gagamaru. It's one of the most intense ways to end a match. The mind games needed in it, and choosing who and when the 5 players will go will be so hyped. I'm gonna be honest, barou is a guaranteed spot as a kicker. He's consistent and clutch. And if a penalty shootout was the way to end a very clutch and intense match, hence why it ended in a tiebreaker in the first place, I think it would raise the stakes even more for the conclusion and finale of it. On top of that, if it was just a goalkeeper battle between Gagamaru and perhaps the new Gen 11 goalkeeper, I think that would feed millions. Kaneshiro would be like Drake in God's plan. This is something we'd probably see way later in the World Cup, as they don't have it during the group stages, but it's something everyone's been wanting for the longest time now, and what better way to do it than in the U20 World Cup. The next thing I want to see is not just Isagi scoring goals. I know he's our main character. I love Isagi just as much as you guys do, but we have 22 other players. We need highlight on them too. I don't really think this will be a problem, but I'm mainly saying this because during the NEL, Isagi got a lot of goals towards the end that could have been reserved for other players, aka Kunigami and PXG. It's still a mystery why he didn't score against his biggest rival. It's very interesting to see how the formations are gonna go for Japan and BLUELOCK. You have Rin and Isagi, who are the #1 players, so it could be very much based around those 2 players and they get most of the goals. But I think it would be better and way more enjoyable to save most of Isagi's goals for the big matches like France, Germany, or Spain, because that makes his goals even more impactful. The fact that he's scoring against the best teams. Again, this probably won't even be a problem, but it's just very important we get other characters developed in the quote-unquote non-important matches, so that Isagi and the main characters get focused during the important ones. Maybe this could be rewarded to Isagi not scoring in every single match, just to allow other characters to get their shine. I doubt that Isagi will in every game, but this is something we 100% need, even if we think it's gonna happen already. Let's move on to something that isn't part of the games, but I want to see in the World Cup, and that is old characters watching the games. The NEL sort of had this with relatives watching their matches, but I think we could take it a step up. The U20 World Cup is hosted in Japan, so maybe we see some old characters in person. I think this would be a great time to return some of the older ones like Naruhaya, Iyamon, just the Team Z boys, since they were sort of close. Some other characters are Tada, Isagi's old teammate who said Isagi only scored by luck. I need him to witness Isagi's greatness with his own eyes. Obviously, the parents will be there too. I know half of y'all miss Bachira's mom. Kira was hinted at in the last chapter and is part of Red Key or the new BLUELOCK. Maybe Nagi joins in too, so I can see them watching some of the World Cup matches while they're going through that selection. Lastly, the adults watching the games too. I expect Noel Noah to watch the game between Germany and Japan. Maybe some of the World 5 reappear. It's been a long time since we've seen them, so it's a good way to reintroduce them. It doesn't even have to be in person. It could just be a reference to them watching on TV or something, since they're more international. But if there's one character I would want to see in person, it would probably be Luna. Luna can watch the eventual game of Japan versus Spain. We all know it's coming. Watching both itoshi Sai and Bunny go at it. We still don't know if they have any relations of Bunny and Luna, but it would make all the more sense for him to come if they did. These characters watching the matches and being referenced is always a nice thing to see. So for the World Cup, it would be a good time to bring back these old characters. Number 4, this is kind of just a stupid thing that I would love love to see, and that is Japan and another team get into a fight. Y'all, imagine Kunigami spinning the block for one of the homies, pulling jerseys, throwing hands, and the funny thing is, it's literally realistic for BLUELOCK. We've seen Shido throw kicks. Ryu was doing judo, and Kunigami was practicing martial arts. It doesn't really do any harm, to be honest. In fact, I think it would raise the stakes even more, because now we got actual beef with another team. But just imagine the panels and how trending it would be if an actual fight gets out in BLUELOCK. Like, what the hell is going on in BLUELOCK? People were losing it when Kaiser started fighting the police, so if it was any of the BLUELOCK boys throwing hands, it would be glorious. It could be another way to get some subs on the pitch as well, like if any of them get ejected or get a wild card, that would force the formation and some of the players to switch, which could spice some things up. Let's be honest though, we ain't losing if we got Kunigami, Shido, Gagamaru, and Aiku. Like, we can scrap and we'll win. Talking about this is funny, but come on, imagine we actually get to see this. Going back to the games though, this is something I know all of y'all want to see, and that is an Egoist 4 chemical reaction. If there is any place to have this, it would be here in the U20 World Cup. They're all on the same team, they're all at their peaks, and it would just be nostalgic and hype at the same time. I would argue that would be a top 10 BLUELOCK moment if that did actually happen. All of them working together like the good old days. Even though Kunigami is emo, just seeing these four would be insane. The moment leading up to it would be so cool as well. We've gotten a team-up panels before, like Isagi, Hiyori, and Kunigami. So a team-up panel with the Egoist 4, like Isagi, Kunigami, Chigiri, and Batra, would have me suited up and everything. We will be there. We also need it before, God forbid, Chigiri gets injured, so we at least have one shining moment with the OG squad, all four of them together. Maybe the Egoist 4 go against another country that has 4-star players, and we get a little 4v4 moment, kind of. All I know is that if there's a perfect time to give a little fan service while having a strategy that also works, it would be here. Since we just talked about it as well, let's talk about injuries, which is bound to happen in this arc. People get injured, and it's no different for the Japan players. The most obvious one would be Chigiri breaking his legs. Now, I know this is a list of everything we need to see. Again, I'm not praying on bro's downfall or anything, but an injury will most likely happen, and it's probably him. And that means the person who caused the injury, we will spin the block like Miguel in Cobra Kai, as well as it forces a substitution. Maybe Godzon Tetsu gets some screen time and hops in the field. An injury would make a very emotional moment as well. Now again, I'm not praying on Chigiri's downfall. Maybe someone else gets injured instead or can't play for some reason, but injuries haven't really been explored yet in BLUELOCK and is something we'll probably see in this arc. Now let's get into character-specific developments. Which characters do I think should get the most development in this arc? Obviously, I think all 22 players excluding Fukaku Gen will get some screen time, but one character I think is due for some development is Kunigami. Kunigami isn't really my favorite, but I think everyone can agree that his character has a lot of potential, which is why I think he needs the development. I've been preaching this statement, but Kunigami went into the NEL as the worst of the Egoist 4 and came out of the NEL still the worst of the Egoist 4. Even in salaries, he was the lowest. The fact that we haven't gotten the wild card as well is still mind-boggling to me, so they need to show it now in order to show why Kunigami is the way he is after being eliminated. Besides being emo, he doesn't really have any personality. It's a complete character assassination, so give him some screen time, develop his ego and personality, and I think he'll be back as a fan favorite in no time. Another character is Ryo, who will 100% get development. He's kind of a free spot on the bingo card, since we already know he's going to be a demon on the pitch once he masters copy. An underrated character I want to see is Atoya, who has some massive potential after using his off the ball against Chris Prince to score a goal. We haven't seen him a lot, so exploring his potential would be kind of cool. And lastly, just non-striker characters like Corona, Kiora, and Nanase. I feel like Corona has sort of fell into the role where he's only known because of Isagi, and Kiora isn't even known in general. Legit one play coming from him in the entire NEL. He needs to bust out the breakdancing moves. Honestly, Nanase is just a chill guy, so that's why I want to see some development on him too. Basically, all these characters really need to become their own character. Those are the players I think need the most highlight. Obviously, there are some like Sendo or Ryu who need it too, but me personally, those are the characters characters I want to see get the most development. Since we're on the topic of characters, I wanted to separately cover Itoshi Sai's revenge on Spain. I can't get past the fact that we're gonna see so many revelations in this arc, but this is what I'm the most excited for. This is my favorite child right here. And Sai's not even my favorite character. Sai versus Spain and his revenge on them will be so good because the Spain lore runs super deep with him. Why was he emo after coming back? Why did he switch his dream? Why is he mean to his brother? Why was he hate watching Bunny? Every single one of these things will be answered. We know this man Itoshi Sai is moving with a purpose when it comes to going against Spain. And we can finally end this stupid odd debate of who's the best new Gen 11. Updated feats from my boy Sai. We're on the second to last want on the wish list, and this is more of a personality thing. I want a character who is just a straight heckler, a trash talker. Someone who can compete with Isagi. An arrogant player is always entertaining to watch, especially when you humble them, but when they're arrogant and can back it up with goals and whatnot, then we got an interesting personality. To be honest, we haven't seen anyone besides Luna, whose whole purpose is to hate and trash talk. I want to see a new guy literally shush the crowd or any of the players of BLUELOCK, just being an overall menace, and I'm kind of laughing thinking about it, just a straight up diss battle between this guy and Isagi or Rin or something. I want this guy to be such a hater, a douchebag, just have all the hate in the world, because one, it would be funny, and two, it would make it all the more satisfying when BLUELOCK defeats them. It can even be a whole country that trash talks, which makes humbling them even better. We know Japan gets a downplayed before BLUELOCK, so this is their time to prove themselves. And lastly, of course, we need to talk about new Gen 11s. Probably one of the most exciting and anticipated parts of the U20 World Cup. We obviously have 4 confirmed, so who are the new ones going to be? I think everyone's hyped for seeing a new Gen 11 goalkeeper. There's a couple of good reasons, one being the fact that besides Gagamaru, we really haven't had any notable or competent goalkeepers. Like Fukaku Gen was legit the only other one, and he got replaced and outperformed by a day 1 goalkeeper. The Neo Egoist League goalkeepers, we legit didn't even get a name drop for them, so having a new Gen 11 goalkeeper would be a breath of fresh air. And thinking about how the matchup would go against BLUELOCK, you're gonna have to think outside of the box in order to stop or score on this guy. I assume the match is going to be very exciting because BLUELOCK is going to go for a bunch of shots and we're going to see him block it all. This may be an over-exaggeration, but it would be insane to see him make 10 saves or something in a game, really showcasing how good of a goalkeeper he is. Or maybe BLUELOCK is desperate because they're down 1-0 and can't score any on him. I said it earlier as well, but if there was a penalty shootout, it would be perfect to do it against him. Raise the stakes even higher. You got the GOAT Gagamaru, everyone's favorite, versus this impenetrable wall, the new Gen 11 goalkeeper. Another new Gen 11 I want to see is someone who matches Isagi in IQ, which would genuinely be cinema, an actual chess match. We were supposed to get a face-off between Charles and Isagi on who can control the game in PXG, but then the match turned into Isagi versus Rin versus Kaiser for 30 chapters. So it would be very exciting to see an actual full match of 2 players trying to outread each other over and over again. Some Classroom of the Elite type timing, and that would mean an Isagi focused game. So of course we're going to enjoy it. I think having a talented learner with high field IQ and meta vision would be very fun to watch for a new Gen 11. All right, that's everything we need to see in BLUELOCK's U20 World Cup. I'm so excited to see everything, and hopefully this list got you excited too. Again, these are just predictions or what I personally want. We may not see all of it. It's not confirmed. I just think it's a very fun thing to discuss. Let me know your thoughts down below. If you would be hyped to see anything on this list or any predictions you got as well, maybe things you want to see. If you made it to the end though, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to hit the subscribe button to stay up to date with everything BLUELOCK. YouTube really thinks you'd like this video right here, so be sure to check that one out. Anyways, I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.